What's up, family? So I'm in Independence, Kansas, and I get the opportunity to speak to some students at Independence Community College tomorrow. And as I was driving out, I noticed something I want to share with you real quick. As I was driving out of the neighborhood, I noticed a house that was being built. This house had the land already graded, and so now they were digging inside to lay the plumbing. I got out my car and I walked closer to the plumbing area. Now this house is being built. It already has the plan, it already has the structure, they already have the blueprints, they've already talked to the contractors, and all of that is set and ready to go. But this house will not work without the plumbing. The plumbing was the most important part of this house. They already had the plumbing set up, and they had the wires going here and the wires going there and the PVC pipe going here and it's going there. They had pipe going under the ground. They had pipe going all over the places because they knew once when they put down the concrete that this pipe had to be perfect. They knew the plumbing had to be perfect before the concrete was ever poured. To us, this is Maslow. Before you ever build the roof of the house, before you even put the foundation and pour the concrete in the foundation of the house, what about that ground level stuff? For Maslow, it's the basics: water, food, shelter. In order to get to the top level and the higher points of Maslow's theory, you first have to think about the ground level, the basic needs. This is Maslow in education. This is the ground level, even before you put the concrete in. This is the ground level for your students to grow. This is the ground level of that house. No matter how big that house is going to get, if this ground level isn't right, you're going to mess up the entire house. Even if it's off by millimeters and inches, it's going to mess up the entire house. I had a moment of reflection. How often do we as educators, how often are we just thinking foundations? And we say, well, we're teaching them the foundations of math. We're teaching them the foundations of science. We're teaching them the foundation of reading. We're teaching them the foundation of life. But even before you put the concrete in, what about the plumbing? I think all of the time we think foundation. The foundational teaching. Before they ever get to Algebra 1, we got to teach them the essential skills of math. But oftentimes it goes beneath that. If that plumbing isn't right, if that plumbing isn't perfect, that house may not be either. Because we want them to have this house. We want to build this house, but before we ever build the house and before we ever make it aesthetically pleasing, before we ever do all the HGTV stuff to it, that foundation under the foundation is really important. Chew on this.